You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Monday. We are excited for Brent Baker to be joining us in the studio. We're going to be chatting with him about the real estate market in the Sioux Empire. Also, coming up later this hour, we have This Day in Sioux Falls History. And at the tail end of the hour, it's a Movie Star Monday. We have David Roschke joining us. He's in a new movie called About My Father. But I remember him from Sledgehammer on TV back a long time ago. Hilarious guy. And he's been in a ton of movies. Excited to chat with him coming up at the end of this hour for a Movie Star Monday.
Give yourself a little credit.
It's more important than ever to have a better credit card. At bettercreditcards.com, we offer a variety of credit card options to fit your needs. Whether you want a card to give you cash back or a credit card to help you build your credit, we probably have it at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to bettercreditcards.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. Excited right now to have Brent Baker joining us in the studio with Clients First Group and Keller Williams. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic today.
Always good to have you in here, and we get to talk about all kinds of fun things that have to do with real estate. And today, going to talk about a conversation. I'm going to have a little conversation here about condos. And this is something that is fascinating to me because there was probably a time in my life where I would never have even considered a condo. The older I get, the more I go, it would be so nice to have somebody else that just does all of this stuff for me. There are some huge benefits to living in a condo compared to, being the one responsible for all that stuff on your own, aren't there?
Well, that is the attraction to a condo. I had a family member who lived in a condo for years, and it was great for her. Somebody keeps the yard mowed. She never had to go out there and do that, so she could do her other activities. And for her lifestyle, that was clearly the way to go. And she didn't have to own a lawnmower. And back then, there were no electric mowers.
Yeah. And so part of this is there's kind of some shared ownership because you have your piece, but there's other pieces that it's like an association almost. Is that what you would call it?
Correct. So you own the inside of your walls, the interior. You can decorate however.
Yeah.
And depending on how the structure is designed, you might have common hallways, common areas. You don't really own anything outside of those walls, but you do have common areas outside or in the hallways. Some condos, literally, you exit right to the outdoors, which is nice because then you have the feeling of independent living.
Yeah.
And, if your entrance is clean, because you kept it clean.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are there special financing things you have to do when it comes to buying a condo? Is that the same as buying a house, or is it different?
There are some differences there, and you have to be aware of those. And so if you go to your lender and they say, well, you're going to be, you're approved for FHA or VA, now we have to be concerned that that facility meets the standards. So there are standards for percentages or ratios of ownership to renters. And so the banks have to look at these a little differently. There are some guidelines.
And in addition to a payment, if you're buying this and getting a mortgage, sometimes there are like association fees and things. Is that correct as well with like a condo?
There are always a homeowners association, and that is for maintaining the grounds, the exterior of the structure, and so forth. And you'll find that same thing in townhouses generally.
Okay, so a townhouse is different than a condo, or is that the same?
Yeah, they have different legal aspects to them.
So when it comes to the homeowners association fees with the condo, what all would be included in that? Because we were talking about like maintaining the lawn and shoveling and that. Are there other things too that are covered with that?
Correct. So in some of them, it is not just the exterior maintenance in the grounds, but also your garbage. Some condos have swimming pools, so they have the maintenance of those items. And you also have to look at and say, is that HOA relevant to the facility? So if it's an older facility, say it's a 30 or 40-year-old structure, but the HOA dues are really low, you might be concerned that they're not accumulating enough funds for maintenance, because as a building ages, maintenance is just going to get more expensive, to maintain the property. So there have been cases, not locally, fortunately, that I'm aware of, where they were not taking in enough funds and then a major project came in and now they're too short. The jump in HOA, would be too much. So it's important to talk to somebody who is really well versed and say, is this an appropriate HOA fee?
Yeah. So when it comes to buying a home, a lot of the time there are inspections that are involved. How does that work when it's something like this, where it's you don't have the whole thing? Are they just inspecting your unit or the whole facility then?
So they're going to inspect the unit, but they will still make general observations about the exterior of the structure. They're not going to, dig into it, so to speak. But home inspector does this every day. So they know what to look for, even on the exterior, that might be a telltale sign. So say all of the decks are very weathered and maybe looking a little ragged.
Yeah.
Okay, then we need to start asking questions. Is this on the repair list for the facility in general or not? And it's well worth the money.
And how about insurance when it comes to buying a home? That's another thing. You make sure you have homeowner's insurance, but I've heard of renter's insurance. Is there like insurance for condos as well? I'm assuming there has to be something, I guess.
Yes, and so that would be also something that's included in the HOA is insurance for the exterior of the structure. It does not include the interior of your unit or your personal property, but that's part of what's included in your HOA.
So if somebody listening would like to learn more about this, maybe they're saying, hey, I've got a home, I've got all this space, the kids are grown and gone, I don't need all of this anymore. Maybe it's time for me to move into a condo and let Brent sell my house and have Brent help me buy a condo. How do they get a hold of you?
I can be found at 605-310-0297 or Brent Baker at kw.com.
Are there quite a few condos on the market at any given time, or is that something where there's a limited supply?
There's a lot of them out there, but you don't see a lot of them available.
Yeah.
Certain facilities have a little higher turnover, but they tend to be older.
Very nice. If you would like to connect with Brent, you can reach out to him. If you missed his number, clientsfirstgroup.com is the website as well, and you can always reach out to me, and I'll gladly get you in touch with him. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Did you know you can allocate a percentage of your IRA to physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover? You can put your IRA back on the gold standard. Genesis Gold IRA is the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. GenesisGoldIRA.com would like to help protect your IRA today with a simple phone call. Learn more and get the phone number at GenesisGoldIRA.com. That's GenesisGoldIRA.com.
Time now for This Day in Sioux Falls History, brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page and Sunny 93.3. It was on this day, June 26, 2020, that Guy Fieri, popular host from Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives on the Food Network, visited Sioux Falls. He visited and filmed in no less than 5 locations around the area, among them Urban Chislik and La Bella Ethiopian Restaurant, which would be included in the January 1st, 2021 episode, South Dakota Smorgasbord. Also, he stopped by Bread and Circus Sandwich Kitchen. That aired January 6th, 2021 for Spicing Things Up. Look's Market aired January 29th in an episode entitled Savory Meats and a Little Sweet. And Daily Clean Food and Drinks on Rib Stickers that aired February 12th. Guy drove around town in his iconic red convertible, posing for photos, chatting it up with the locals, and being an all-around awesome guy, all while taking in some of the best cuisine Sioux Falls has to offer. However, I think someone should let him know that there's plenty more that he could come back for. Maybe invite him back for more delicious Sioux Falls food. This Day in Sioux Falls History has been brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page at SiouxFallsFunPage.com and Sunny 93.3.
How much do you pay for your cell phone every month? If that's more than $15, it's time for a Mintervention. Mint Mobile makes it affordable and easy to switch. Get a new phone or bring your current one. Whether you're a fan of iPhones or Samsung, they both work well with Mint Mobile. At Mintervention.com, you can see the current special offers from Mint Mobile, offering premium wireless for just $15 a month. That's far less than most people are paying. Just $15 a month. Learn more now at Mintervention.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, June 26th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets pulled back last week as traders prepare for this week's PCE price index. The price index is expected to show another hot increase in consumer-level inflation and keep the Fed on track to hike rates again. The question is if the FOMC will hike by only 25 basis points or will it hike another 50 or more. As it is, the market is only pricing in a single interest rate hike and may be surprised by the data this week. The S&P 500 pulled back and snapped a winning streak, but is still above the key 4,300 level, so the near-term uptrend is intact. The index may pull back to 4,300 before moving higher, but the stage is set for the updraft to continue. Even with hot inflation, the rise of AI and stimulus-related government spending underpins strength in the tech and industrial sectors and will help the market move higher. The question is how high the market will go before the reality of the Fed's new normal is realized. You can get the inside track at MarketBeatMinute.com.
Why did the chicken cross the road? To save money on insurance at InsuranceChicken.com. Do you have the best plan for you? Find out at InsuranceChicken.com. Let's face it, we don't even want insurance. We need it. But you don't need to overpay. Head over to InsuranceChicken.com to see your rates from several different companies. All available in one place at InsuranceChicken.com. The other guys have a gecko, a duck, and an emu. Why not a chicken? InsuranceChicken.com. That's InsuranceChicken.com.